Hi guys, this is Bobby from Evo, and this is the car you guys have been requesting me to review. Alright, this is the S60 T6. Look at the front, it wasn't like this when it was first launched. It is a, dual headlamp and all that kind of cluster. Now they cleaned it up and they have some new shape on the bonnet, which makes the car looks really handsome. I like the front, how it's sculpted and all that. The wide Volvo grills, it's a very handsome car. I think they did a good job in restyling this. I don't like the restyled XC60 that much, but this one looks really good. All right. These are some new rim designs, but and they are only 18 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's 18 inches. Now it might look like there is a bigger gap, but I can assure you, it aids comfort so well. All right, it is a very comfortable car, especially when you go over speed bumps and all that. Right, it's nice, and it's still sporty looking. Look at the rear design. That little spoiler here, the dual exhaust tips, and that diffuser there. All right, it looks good. It has a very nice profile, handsome car as well. As for the boot, it's big. This is a huge pram I put inside here, all right? And it's a very big boot, all right? It has a moderately tall sill, I would say, okay? And, okay, I couldn't get it out, a bit malas, huh? This is a splitter, so you can fold the thing up to hold the luggages so that they won't, sway around and all that. What's wrong with my gimbal? Oh. Gimbal, are you okay, gimbal? Alright, let's go to the rear. Okay. Nice headroom. Alright. And I'm sitting, the sitting position is very comfortable. It's not as straight as a lot of cars. Alright, and I have really good knee room. And I can slot my feet underneath the front seats. This is my sitting position. I am 5'11". Alright. Even though with a swooping rear roof, it's comfortable. I love this. They put the aircon vents here, which is proper. Most cars put it here, right? Because it's cheaper to just route it over here. But they route it all the way underneath the floorboards and come back up on the B pillar. Very good. All right. Nice center armrest here with cup holders. Everything decent, but there's no USB port here. I would love it if they put USB ports there or behind. There's a lack of USB ports. The door bins are not very usable, actually. The opening is big. You can put your phone, your wallet, and all that stuff in, but I don't think it can fit any form of bottles. Nope, it couldn't. Right? But build quality and all that is very solid, and I especially like this material. This entire one-piece metal, very nice. Okay. Let's go to the front. Alright. This is how it looks. Start it. Normally when you unlock the car, right, they will have a an animation that shows the speed on the revo meter coming up and going back down. Alright. This is full LCD dashboard. Okay. And in its segment, I think only this one and the A4 has full LCD dashboard. But the A4, you need to top up quite a bit of money to get that. This one, it comes standard with it. Okay, Volvo updated the infotainment system. It's a full-fledged system. Actually, it might look simple from here, but it has everything. All right, navigation and all that. But the funny thing is, you need to top up, I don't know, 2,000 ringgit or 3. I'm not sure. Camera is unavailable because you need to top up money for the reverse camera. Alright, other than that, it has everything, navigation and all that. Not the slickest. You cannot compare to the BMW iDrive or the Audi MMI because it doesn't have a dedicated control. When this car is when it first launched in 2011, it's not that popular yet, even though BMW started the whole single knob control thingy, right? So it's a nice one. I mean, it's still a very nice cabin. It's designed it doesn't suit everybody's taste. It's not like, the Mercedes C-Class cabin where it's super swanky, very stylish and all that. But I can assure you, this cabin is very, very well fitted. Every surface that you touch is high quality. Even the hard plastics and all that, right, is high quality. And I especially like this portion here. I don't know what material they use. Is it metal or what? But it feels super nice. Right, it's a very high quality cabin, very well put together. Not the most modern, given that this car is no longer young, I would say, but classic Volvo stuffs, you know, rubber coated sliding, you know, lid or something. I'm a loss of words, but I like this material surfacing and all this. It's really high quality. Very nice and deep center console. Alright, but it only has one USB port. I mean, it would be good to have 2 or 3 or 4, you know, so that every passenger can have their devices charged and all that on a long trip and all that. Okay, the door bins are not exactly the most usable in terms of how it's styled, in terms of how they open up space and all that, but it's the opening is wide. I'm not sure, but I suspect maybe they have some gigantic metal bars inside the doors. You know, these are the things that Volvo do to keep you safe. So maybe, all right. Very deep and very usable glove box. Nice quality as well. Okay, not flimsy at all. Not a lot of cubby spaces, honestly speaking. I mean, you have this waterfall dash, and then behind you can put some stuff, you know, like smart tag and all that. All right, but other than that, it's you don't find a lot of cubby spaces. Their seats are wonderful though. The seats are super comfortable. This car is a freaking bargain. 238,000 for a proper sports sedan. 306 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque. All right. The buttons and all that, the steering feels good. It's nicely sized for this sort of car. It's not a sporty steering per se, all right, but in slow speeds, a bit dead. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. But the interior is a very nice space, very nice place. If I buy this car, right, I know I can't, but I want to put brown leather. Don't know why, but I want to put brown leather. Okay. The controls are here, pretty much self-explanatory, and then either driver side or passenger side, you get the door unlock and lock button, which is very good for Malaysia. You know, we have all sorts of weird people out there jumping up to your car and kidnapping people, all those stuff going on, but it's good to have that. All right, and the aircon vents are placed very uniquely. You know, one here, one over here, and there, and this one specifically blows to the rear. All right, so this car, in terms of its air conditioning vent placement, is excellent. All right, so you have all sorts of safety features and all that. So this car is quite nice, honestly speaking, and for its price, is one of the best. Okay, it's a new transmission, but I don't really like the design of the knob. But it's very comfortable. It's very, very comfortable. Okay, unlike the Audi one, which is super weird. That thing is just weird. Audis. Yep. So that's the cabin. Not much to talk about. These are the limitation per se, because back then, it doesn't come with like this kind of integrated infotainment system. So they have to make do with what they have to provide some form of control to this. So if you're buying this car, do know that this is the magic knob. This is the knob that controls everything here. When you exit, you know, you exit that, you know, and then you turn this to do selection, and then you press OK to go in. So they have no choice, but they have to make do with what they have to control this new infotainment system, and they have to develop this while they are developing the new one for the XC90. So this is like a stopgap measure, where I believe all new Volvos will have the full portrait mode infotainment control, which is touchscreen. Alright? Now, I'm sure all of you know or remember the BMW 335i, the BMW 335i, right? So that is like within the 3 Series, the most atas one, right? with 3 liter and 300 horsepower, and and then Audi you have the S4, right, which is also sits on top of the A4 pyramid before you go into RS4 territory, right? So that's the S4, where it's also a 3 liter supercharged, and earlier on, I mean the B8 generation, it makes 333 horsepower, and in the B9 generation it makes 354-ish or something like that. And Mercedes has the C43. I'm not sure what they're going to call it now, C45, 48, whatever. I mean, all their numbers at the back no longer correspond to whatever output. Same goes BMW, right? It's called 340i now. And then you have, what else? So, in the premium sector, all right, this is a big thing, because back then when Saab hasn't folded down, they have this Saab Turbo X, which makes 280 horsepower. So this is sort of like the kind of power output that sits on top of their regular premium sports sedan range. Okay, and in fact, if any one of you are crazy car enthusiasts, you would know or heard about or read about the Lotus Carlton back in the early 90s, where Vauxhall passed a car for Lotus and they go, do your magic, and then they go like, can do that. I don't have sunglasses with me. Anyway, and they came out with a car with 300 horsepower, and you know what happened? It was all over the news. Even the UK Parliament decided to debate, should car makers be allowed to make family cars that is that powerful? Yeah, they debate that. You know why? Because this Volvo that I'm driving has 306 horsepower, and it makes 400 Newton meters of torque, and I'm now at 160. Yes. This is a freaking sleeper of a car. 306 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque in this car that I'm driving. Is mind blown. Alright? And what's the other thing? The road tax of this car. Okay? The road tax, 380 ringgit. 380 ringgit road tax for 306 horsepower. This is the kind of car that I'm driving now. And it's a comfortable family sedan that seats 5 person. Let's do that again. Holy shit. Yep. Yes. So this is the kind of car that from outside it is completely unassuming, until when people notice the badge at the back. Alright? This is the Volvo's equivalent to the Audi S4, the BMW 340i, which means, it sits at the top of the range of, their cars. This is the Volvo S60 T6. Okay? Now the regular T5 is no slouch, because the T5 makes 245 horsepower, which is equivalent to the Mercedes C300. Okay? So the Mercedes C300 is like what? 310, 320k? I'm not sure. Alright? I have no idea. They stopped selling that because now they have the 350e, which is 290-ish thousand, 290 something thousand. When the Volvo S60 T6 first arrived in Malaysia, if I don't remember wrongly, it is very, very near to 400,000 ringgit. Okay, it arrived in a 3 liter straight 6 turbocharged engine, placed up front, not straight, sideways. So I don't know whether you should call it a horizontal 6 or a straight 6, because anyway, just joking. It is a straight 6 engine, but it wasn't placed longitudinally. Okay, it is placed this way. All right, and it goes through a four-wheel drive drivetrain through the old transmission back then. So it it is quite a sleeper. I think you can find a few on car list or Muda now. Maybe car list, expensive cars mostly in car list. So you can still find the car, people are selling it. So it has a very charismatic six-cylinder 3-liter turbo engine. The problem with that package is that that engine, let's go through that engine. It is a heavy engine, it is a super thirsty engine, and it is not a super modern, super great, it's not a great straight six, alright? You have BMW straight six that are awesome, you know, like the one in the 335i. And then you have V6 that are great. The Audi supercharged V6, that engine is superb engine. Yeah, but that particular straight six 3-liter turbo engine in the old S60 T6 is not a great 6-cylinder. But this makes the same horsepower output, alright, mind you, but this is a 4-cylinder. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. This is Volvo's in-house developed new Drive E engine, alright. This Drive E engine is a revelation. Why? When Volvo developed this Drive E engine, right, it is one engine block that you can put one turbocharger, alright, or you can put, which means it's a T5. When it's one turbocharger, it makes 245 horsepower. It's a T5, and then when you add a supercharger, it's designed to take this. All right, when you add a supercharger, it makes 306 horsepower, twin charge, and weight, and it is designed to work with a hybrid drivetrain, a plug-in hybrid drivetrain, and when it's together with that plug-in hybrid drivetrain, it produces a system output of 407 horsepower and 640 Newton meters of torque, which is in the T8, the Volvo XC90 T8, alright, has this configuration. And this engine is quite something. You know why? The same block for the petrol, when you take out all the other stuff, you can run diesel. The diesel engine block of new Volvo Drive E powertrain and petrol uses the same block. So it's really something. I mean, if I have to vote, I mean, Volvo, everyone, when they talk about Volvos, they seldom talk about their engine, but seriously, having tested all the new 4-cylinder turbocharged engines, right, I have to say, this Drive E engine is definitely one of the best, if not the best, 4-cylinder turbocharged engines out there, because it is just that good. It sounds fantastic. It sounds better than whatever BMW, Mercedes or Audi has in their engine base. You can test them. You can pick up an S60 T6 and then you rev it, and then you look at how it climbs its rev, look at how it performs, and look at how it sounds. It is better, to me at least personally. It sounds better, it revs better, and than the German equivalent. Of course, it's better than Lexus, the 2-liter turbo from Lexus. It is better. So this is a phenomenal engine, alright? Now, over the years, Volvo, I mean, the past 5 years, right, is like a big transition period for Volvo. Why? They have legacy technology from Ford, you know, still being in use and slowly filtering out and all that. But I have to say, the engineers in Gothenburg, right, they are a bunch of wizards. Why? Because this car is not a new car, right? This S60 has been around since year 2011 or 10, I forgot, alright? So when it was made, right, it was made to run with Ford drivetrains, Ford transmissions and all that. But now, they made their own Drive E engine and it's mated to a Toyota transmission. Yep. Now, Toyota is a damn big company, right? We know they own Denso, you know, and all that. They also own a very famous company called Aisin. Aisin is a gearbox maker. It is a very big transmission gearbox maker. and Aisin makes some of the most reliable transmissions out there. Alright? And this car, like all the other Volvos out there now, they have an 8-speed Aisin transmission. And what that means is the gearbox will be bulletproof. Okay? And it works well. In application, I don't think it is as fast as the ZF 8-speed. Alright? But it works really well. Yeah, that's Volvo for you. So now, I think in terms of drivetrain combination, it's fantastic. It has this small 2-liter drive-E engine that performs really, really well, and is mated to an 8-speed Aisin transmission that is bulletproof. Put everything of that aside, how does the car drive? The car drives brilliantly when it comes to highway, big banking turns and all that. It is a fantastic high-performance car, okay? But it is not a sports car. It was never made to be a sports car. It's not meant to be a sports car. If you watched my video the other day, I was driving the C-Class Coupe, where it has a super fast front end, and all that, super hard suspension. No, it's not that. That is a very sporty car. This is not. This is a family car, but it has a lot of power, so that when you're overtaking on the highways and all that, it is freaking effortless. Alright, that's how it is. And in terms of steering, same like any other Volvo steering out there, it is big. When you have a big steering, it's not very sporty. Say for example, in my V40 T5 Polestar video, I said that the steering is too big, right? Because that car is supposed to be a sporty hatchback. For a sporty hatchback, that steering is too big. But for a car like this steering is just nice. Why? When you're doing highway drives, most of the time you won't be doing this, because this is freaking tiring. When you drive to Penang all the way like that, it's freaking tiring. Most of us will put our hands down. Now, if your steering rim is small, that means you can't really rest your arms and still hold it, because you won't be able to reach it, right? But a certain size like this is like a cruiser type steering wheel size. And the other thing is, Volvo is being very frugal. They know they are not as rich as BMW or any other company, right? Coming up with 1,000 combinations of steering and all that. No, they stick to it, they use it, all right, in their current generation models. But in the new XC90 ones, you have a different one, all right? But it's a decent one. The girth is all right, the size is all right for this car. You have nice little pedal shifters at the back. I'm very happy that Volvo listened to me, right? To me, pedal shifters is no longer just a sporty thing, it is a safety device, all right? Anytime when I'm driving, emergency, I need to downshift 2 times or 3 times, I can do it with my pedal shifters instead of shifting this thing over there, all right? So you have all the buttons control here, adaptive cruise control, automatic braking, all those blind spot system, all these are there in this car. It is full-fledged featured, all right? And if you go to our website now, evomalaysia.com, you'll be able to read an article that our editor Keegan recently wrote. It's about the importance of the car structure, because we noticed, right, a lot of car crash tests scoring system now, they give 5-star because you have this software and that system, this sensor, that sensor, and all these sensors. Come on, that wasn't why crash tests started. Crash tests started to tell how strong the body is. That is the core of every crash test. But when you add all this software inside, right, to determine that this car is 5-star because it has all this software, then those are what? Those are, I know it's preemptive, those are active safety systems to prevent you from crashing. But what we want to know in crash tests is, after you crash, how does the car withhold itself? So we notice a proliferation of all this nonsense, because if it crash, I myself is a crash prevention system, right? Then what? You determine my driving skill and then you give me a higher star? No, it's about after you crash, how safe is the car? That is the most important thing. So that's why he wrote an article, that brilliant article. You can go there and have a read, right? We talk about the importance of it. Why? Because Volvo, you have companies like Volvo, Honda, various others, right, where they really take note of all this. And when a lot of car makers were first subjected to the new small overlap crash tests, so many of them fail. So many of them fail. Yet there are a few car companies that we notice they really put extra effort in all this. You know, like Honda, Mazda, this guy, Subaru, and all that. Do you know Subaru is like the Volvo of Japan? If you don't know that, check it out, right? They are very advanced in terms of safety system, and in terms of all those auto braking stuff. Subaru was earlier than Volvo. Anyway, let's sidetrack. So back to how this car drives. The steering, when you are going slow in parking lot and all that, it is a bit dead. All right, that's the steering. It's a bit dead. As your speed moves up, it's alive. It's better. Why? Because I don't know. Maybe it's overly assisted by the pump or the electric motor or whatever. Because it actively actually sort of steers the car a little bit when I veer into other lanes without signaling. So if I veer into other lanes without signaling, it will try to subtly pull it back. It is not a semi-autonomous system yet, but it is a very good prevention in making sure my car is properly aligned on the highway if I'm falling asleep or something like that. Alright? So it needs to be on the ball. That means the electric motor has to be on the ball, ready to always, move it a bit. That's why when you drive fast, you can feel it's a bit overly assisted. But when you are driving slow, you also feel that it is artificially, don't know why, heavy and dead. Alright? But that being said, that's for people who are used to driving, sporty cars and all that, those ultimate driving machine and all that, proper sporty tune, sporty bias steerings. This is a family car. It's just that it is a very powerful family car. Does it cope well on on curve and bends and all that? Pretty much alright. Going through speed bumps and all that, I find one thing. This car, right, can go past absurdly tall speed bumps without issues. A lot of, Mercedes E-Class owners, you will know this, right? You all almost have a group, a group request from, you all actually went up to Mercedes-Benz to rectify this issue, right? Because the previous E-Class has really low ride height that whatever speed bump also you kena kang day in and out, right? And if you stay Desa Park City, you're gonna kena like 18 times in a day, in and out. So this car, I don't know why, I can go past a lot of high speed bumps, right, without an issue. However, when it comes to those roads that were molested or raped by JBA, TNB or whatever, those guys who has no qualification, no experience, by right they should have nothing to do with road mending or road building, but these are the fuckers who are fucking up our roads day in and out, right? We have a nice patch of new road, some guy will come and cut a patch across and then they go and fill it up. Come on, you pay JKR to fix it. You don't come and pandai fix it. Your name is JBA, Jabatan Bekalan Air. Why are you going to fix road, right? You fix road, then the roads are like shit. And then, okay, those kind of roads, this car is a bit, can't really take it. You have all that, alright? But in terms of undulations, nice ones, the big flowing ones, like those Max Highway, those are alright. These are perfectly alright. It's just that, it feels like which car? It's not as hard as the C250 Coupe that day, but it feels almost the same as... No, it's softer than the Polestar that I had the other day. It's definitely not as plush as the new A4 or the new 330e or the new C-Class sedan. It's definitely not as plush as them, but it's alright, right? You kena those bad roads, you will feel it, glung, 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 glung. You will feel it, because it's not the I don't know why. Maybe the suspension is not tuned that way to really absorb everything in a perfect manner. But by no means it is uncomfortable. This car is very comfortable, to say the least. Sound noise, wind noise, road noise and all that, not much, seriously. It's freaking well built, this car. The interior design is a bit old, but I feel that it is very solid. Everything inside here is very, very, very solid. You can't even find sharp edges, you know, sharp plastic molding edges. I hated that when my hand can touch that in a premium car, right? That tells me those guys don't know their shit, you know, they don't know their job. But this car, no. I can't find a single surface where there's a sharp edge, right? So everything is decent. What else? It's spacious. It is, I think it's more spacious than any other of them in this class. Why? Because when this car was designed back then, it was designed to slot in between the 3 Series and the 5 Series, where the S40, V40 is supposed to slot in between the 3 Series and the 1 Series. That was Volvo's strategy back then. They want to slot themselves in between. But of course now, as all of them grow their sizes and all that, they sort of match up. But in terms of interior room, I still think this guy is still one of the largest in terms of interior space. Almost like the A4, or I think maybe larger than the A4, I'm not sure. Alright, so yep, it's a very nice car to drive. It's very fast. It's a freaking sleeper of a car that if you're in this segment, you should take a look at this car.